Imagine just going about your morning, opening up your inbox, and bam, there's an email from a complete stranger totally accusing you of destroying humanity. I mean, no way, right? But that's actually exactly what happened to AI researcher Sasha Lucioni. She got this bizarre, wildly dramatic message warning her that her work in artificial intelligence was literally going to bring about the end of the world. It's a pretty intense way to start your workday for sure. But honestly, it perfectly sets the stage for what we're going to unpack in this explainer. Today, we're cutting through the hype and the hysteria. We're going to look at why AI poses hidden dangers, the real, immediate risks that are already affecting our world, our careers, and even our basic security.
Right, so is AI going to end humanity? It's the question that absolutely dominates the headlines these days. We are constantly, and I mean constantly, bombarded with these sci-fi doomsday scenarios, existential risks, and those classic Terminator myths. You've got people writing open letters, organizing massive events, all trying to prevent some apocalyptic singularity. And, it's super easy to get caught up in that panic when the whole conversation is strictly focused on what might happen 10, 20, or 50 years down the line.
Okay, let's dive into this, because focusing strictly on future existential risks is actually a massive distraction. Seriously, while we're all busy worrying about some hypothetical robot uprising, we're completely ignoring the very real, tangible impacts happening right this second. I mean, we really don't need a Terminator to see the danger when we have a current AI meal planner app literally proposing a crowd-pleasing recipe that features, wait for it, chlorine gas. Yeah, you can't make that up. The real threat isn't that AI is going to suddenly turn evil. It's the hidden environmental toll, the deeply baked-in biases, the massive data breaches, and this absolute explosion of deepfakes that are already woven into the fabric of our society today. To understand why this is happening so fast, you kind of have to look at the massive, complex mathematical structure running the show, the transformer architecture. This is basically the engine behind models like ChatGPT, and it's what's driving this incredible breakneck speed of AI advancement. It completely throws out the older sequential processing methods and uses something called self-attention. Think of it like this. Instead of reading a book word by word, the AI can look at the entire book all at once, processing vast amounts of data in parallel. It is brilliant engineering, absolutely. But running these massive mathematical structures at a global scale, well, it comes with massive hidden consequences. Section 1. The invisible societal toll. Let's look below the surface. So, AI doesn't just exist in a vacuum, right? It's deeply embedded in our physical world, and it has an invisible yet massive physical impact. Let's talk about its carbon footprint for a second. When researchers trained the Bloom model, which, by the way, is an open large language model actually designed with ethics in mind, just the training process alone emitted 25 tons of carbon dioxide. To put that into perspective for you, that's the equivalent of driving your car around the entire planet 5 times. And all that massive energy expenditure was required just so a user could log on and have the model tell them a simple knock-knock joke. It's wild. People love to talk about the cloud, like it's this magical, weightless, ethereal space, but it's not. It is intensely physical. It's metal, it's plastic, and it eats up vast amounts of energy. And the current trend in the AI space right now is definitely bigger is better. Over just the last 5 years, large language models have ballooned in size by a staggering 2,000 times. And get this, switching from a smaller, efficient model to one of these massive ones can emit 14 times more carbon for the exact same task. As we keep cramming these huge models into everything from our cell phones to our smart fridges, this unseen sustainability crisis is piling up incredibly fast. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these systems reflect our very own flaws right back at us. This is the terrifying reality of algorithmic bias and copyright infringement happening right now. Because these models are trained on these massive, uncurated internet datasets, they just automatically encode our real-world stereotypes. For example, we've seen facial recognition systems vastly underperform for women of color. And this isn't just a minor technical glitch. It has life-altering real-world consequences, like when Portia Woodruff was wrongfully accused of carjacking by an AI system while she was 8 months pregnant. It's unacceptable. We also see image generators depicting CEOs and lawyers almost exclusively as white men. And to top it all off, these massive training datasets are operating like a giant all-you-can-eat buffet, just consuming the life's work of human artists and authors completely without their consent. Section 2. How AI gets you fired. Let's talk about the internal risks. So while AI might not end humanity tomorrow, there's actually a very real chance it could directly threaten your livelihood today if you aren't careful. Just look at this data. 60% of organizations out there completely lack an AI governance or security policy. Zero guardrails. That means the majority of companies are just flying blind, completely unprotected from the hidden dangers that well-meaning employees are introducing into the workplace every single day, just by trying to be a little bit more productive. So the crucial point is, there are 5 career-ending traps you absolutely need to watch out for. It usually starts with shadow AI, which is basically just using unapproved, unvetted tools to get your work done faster. Innocent enough, right? But the very second you copy and paste proprietary code or sensitive customer records into that random tool, boom, you trigger data leakage. You've just sent company secrets to a third-party server where you can never, ever claw them back. Then there's hallucination laundering. That's when you take fabricated, super confident-sounding slop from an AI and submit it in your own report or legal filing as an actual fact. Ouch. You also have to worry about prompt injections overriding your AI's instructions, or worse, spinning up unauthorized AI agents and just letting them run totally wild in your systems without any supervision.
And hey, if you think management is just going to brush these little mistakes off as growing pains, think again. According to IBM's Cost of a Data Breach report, when a breach involves shadow AI, it adds a staggering $670,000 to the total cost for the organization. That is a massively expensive mistake. And trust me, accountability for that price tag is going to fall squarely on the employee or the IT leader who let it happen.
Section 3. Weaponized AI agents. The automated attacks.
Now, let's shift our focus to the outside threats, because it's not just internal mistakes we have to worry about. Malicious actors are actively exploiting these systems using AI to automate the entire attack chain. One of the most terrifying new threats out there is the indirect prompt injection attack. Here's exactly how it works. You ask your super helpful AI assistant to just summarize an email or maybe a web page for you. But secretly hidden inside that document, maybe written in invisible text, is a malicious prompt from an attacker telling the AI to ignore all its safety rules. The AI reads it, assumes it's a valid instruction from you, and autonomously executes the hidden command, like silently forwarding your most sensitive data directly to the attacker. And you want to know the scariest part? It requires literally 0 clicks from you. You never clicked a bad link, you just asked your AI to do its job.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what leads to a zombie AI agent. Imagine this. An employee sets up an autonomous AI agent for a quick little proof of concept. The project ends, the employee moves on to something else. But they completely forget to turn the agent off. So it's still running, it still has active API keys, and it still has full access to your databases. That innocent little bit of experimentation has just created a massive, unmonitored backdoor vulnerability. It's a total nightmare scenario for an IT department if an attacker manages to hijack it. And of course, we really can't talk about weaponized AI without talking about the sheer volume of fake content flooding the internet. Look at this jump. Between 2023 and 2025, the number of observed deepfakes skyrocketed from 500,000 to 8 million instances. That is a 1,500% increase. Attackers are weaponizing generative AI to create these hyper-personalized phishing emails and incredibly convincing deepfake audio and video to pull off social engineering attacks. And the hard truth we have to face, deepfake detection technology simply cannot keep up. It's always a step behind. We basically have to train ourselves to be deeply suspicious of the request itself, rather than relying on software to spot the fake for us.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Section 4, Building AI Guardrails.
Okay, take a breath, because it's not all doom and gloom here. Now that we actually understand these risks, we can pivot into the empowering solutions and frameworks that organizations are successfully deploying right now. One of the absolute most promising blueprints we have is the NIST AI Risk Management Framework. It's essentially a continuous, virtuous cycle. It begins by governing your company's culture and compliance. Then, you map out your context, your goals, and you identify your stakeholders. Once all that's set in stone, you rigorously measure the risks, both quantitatively and qualitatively, which then allows you to proactively manage and mitigate those responses. It's really all about building a system that is secure, fair, and robust by design.
So on a purely technical level, securing the AI pipeline means inserting security at the very beginning, the middle, and the end, using a DevSecOps approach. Instead of just letting users connect directly to an AI, you put an AI gateway or a firewall right in the middle. This intercepts things like those sneaky prompt injections before they even reach the model, and it strictly blocks your sensitive data from leaking out. You also absolutely have to implement strict risk-based access control, heavily sandbox any autonomous agents you're running, and most importantly, always keep a human in the loop for oversight.
As Sasha Lucioni so perfectly put it, AI is moving incredibly quickly, but it is not a done deal. We are building the road as we walk it. The hidden dangers are entirely real, from the massive carbon emissions and deeply embedded biases to crippling data breaches and weaponized autonomous agents. But listen, if we implement the right governance today, we can collectively decide what direction we actually want to go in. So the question I'll leave you with is this. Are you going to just sit back and wait for some sci-fi doomsday? Or are you going to proactively participate in building the road to a safe, secure, and sustainable AI future? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.